So, last time out, we had spooky skeletons in the closet. Hey everyone, it's Heather, and we're back with episode 3 of Watchmen. I've got my notebook, which I didn't write in last time, but which I'm going to keep close to my heart, just in case I decide to write something this time. And, I'll probably just put it over here just in case. Because you never know what's going to happen, especially in one particular storyline. So last time out, we had Angela discovering certain things that maybe she didn't want to know about Judd, and she found his Ku Klux Klan costume or outfit or whatever, and we still don't have like all of the context on that. We just have sort of that moment of discovery and, you know, all the things that must be going through her head right now. We also had Red wanting vengeance for Judd's death, and LG also sort of wanting that, but, you know, in a more subtle way. Angela took out her rage on some guy, and she also discovered that the wheelchair guy, whose name I think is Will, is her grandfather, or at least that's what the DNA says. And he was rescued by some friendly aliens with a magnet ship at the very end. And over across the pond, or wherever it is where that castle is, and all those the British guy, who, you know, I don't actually know his name. I keep calling him Jeremy Irons because that's the actor's name, but if his actual name has been said in the show so far, I have missed it. So, and I don't want to look it up just in case, you know, I see something else, or, you know, oh, it's Jeremy Irons, also known as this character, also known as this, known for this, and blah, blah, blah. It would just ruin it. So until somebody explicitly says it and it's flashing on screen to me, I will just keep calling him Jeremy Irons. And yeah, that storyline is, I've decided that it makes perfect sense, and it's just that I have a brain aneurysm of some sort, and, you know, that's the only explanation that I can think of. Because otherwise I have to get my head around all these people who are the same clones of each other, and, you know, just being killed off or used in various roles. You know, one guy gets to wear a hood over his head and play the violin, and the other guy gets to be a butler and star in his plays. And, you know, just let's see what birthday he has this time. For all I know, he's a clone, and the first guy was like the one clone, and this guy, the second guy, was a 2 clone, and the number of candles, you know, I'm not gonna go down that road. Okay, so Jeremy Irons, one guy, everybody else clones. Okay, for now. And unless they're all aliens with magnets, that could be 2. Because we also saw magnets floating a castle in the last episode. You know, my Lego never floated as a kid, so, you know, I can't really relate. But yeah, so as frantic as that recap was, I think we're going to calm things down a bit. We're going to get into episode 3. I don't know what it's called, but the title always crops up in the first few minutes. And it always makes sense to a certain degree. So let's get to it.
Has it stopped, Master?
No, Miss Crookshanks. It's only just begun.
Her name is Miss Crookshanks, and the other guy's name is Mr. Damn it. The problem is they keep calling him Sir, so. Ooh, I like this. I want one of these as well.
Time. Dr. Manhattan is listening.
Okay.
There's this guy.
Is that the Washington Monument?
Beauty. It's a perfect barbecue.
I know
Just
this
the way he
voice.
drew it in the blueprints. Yeah. She picks up the orphan brick and she throws it up into the air.
Money for the fucking drawers now! Everyone on the goddamn floor!
What? It's Batman. What?
Back the fuck off! Because what you're doing right now, vigilantism, it's illegal.
Oh,
So it'd be
it's a
super
sting.
smart for federal law enforcement. Otherwise, you wouldn't walk right into their trap, right?
Oh, not Batman. Use your smoke bombs. She's a good shot, and
What?
I know her from 24.
Hey, Blake. How'd you know his body armor would stop the bullets?
I didn't. She had no idea. I like the way she didn't answer. It's very, lesser shows would have had her said, "Yeah, don't arrest Batman.
He's not a hero!
He's a vigilante."
He's a fucking joke. Ah, you fucking pig!
She was killed by space junk. You see, when I said the titles make sense. Yeah. I think they were written by Jeremy Irons, all of the titles. For a second I was like, please don't eat it. Okay, something else is eating it. 667. This is so funny. I think I've liked every scene so far. Just there's been something subtle in each one of them.
Senator Kane.
Agent Blake.
Oh, this is the guy that
Sorry to bother you
don't
at
trust.
Can I peek?
Watch your fingers.
What is in there? Is it a snake? Oh, an owl.
And if they do, it all goes to shit.
And you don't get to be president.
The president can pardon anybody he wants. Anybody. He could even get your owl out of that cage.
Hey, ooh, she looks like her. She looks like a younger version of her.
Forget the brick. New joke. 3 heroes die, and they all show up at the pearly gates. Our first hero was dressed up like a big owl. And God says to him, I gifted you the ability to make fantastic inventions. So how many people did you kill? The old guy seems offended. 0. He says, I didn't take a single life. God frowns. Your heart's in the right place, but you're just too soft. God snaps his fingers. And the hero goes to hell.
So was she like... There was 4 pictures. One of them was Dr. Manhattan, and the other was her, and there was 2 others. So was she a vigilante?
Is it the 1980s, Feedy?
Nope.
No, sir. Then who gives a shit about Rorschach? Attacks at the homes of
Okay, so he was somebody around in the 1980s. Back when she was young.
Including Judd Crawford.
Back when Judd was
A couple
young.
others, you can't go in there alone.
Fine.
Take the new guy.
Take
That guy.
him.
Yeah. The smartest guy in the room. I have an eye mask, but it's really uncomfortable to sleep with. So I don't wear it. This guy's a nerd.
And you're a federal agent. Not the lone fucking ranger.
I like her. I really like her.
Right.
She has that sort of jaded, lifelong cynicism that's just cutting, biting, sarcastic. Ooh, look at this. I like this.
You knew him, right? Back in the old days, when he was Ozymandias.
You want my autograph?
Is he one of the
What?
4 people?
Clearly have a heart on.
I feel like I'm missing like
I
something,
wrote my graduate thesis on the
By
boat
not
strike of 77,
knowing stuff.
when you and your ex were in D.C. And by ex, I mean Dr. Manhattan, the most powerful being in existence.
Being.
So,
I should be writing this down.
And
I really have to pay attention in this
Yeah,
episode. Ozymandias.
Right.
Okay, so she's talking to her ex,
Pearly
her
Gates await our
husband.
next hero. He was confident he can game this out. Some might even say he was the smartest man in the world. How many people did you kill? Smarty Pants smiles. 3 million, give or take. But you can't make an omelet without breaking a couple eggs. You're a fucking monster. God snaps his fingers. The hero goes to hell.
God's hard to please. Just there's this magic number of people you have to kill, and they're not getting it yet. So maybe number 3 will get it,
It's the wrong warehouse.
or maybe everyone just goes to hell.
History tells you.
I don't think I know her name.
Who the fuck are you?
Special Agent Lori Blake.
Lori
Fuck are
Blake.
you?
Pirate Jenny.
Her Jenny.
Sir, I'm with the FBI. Are your civil rights being violated?
They just grabbed me. They didn't read me my rights.
Okay, sorry. I was just kidding. I don't care. I'm looking for someone named Looking Glass.
Looking Glass. LG. This scene has everybody's name. Just keep this scene going, and just bring people out and start going. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Looking Glass. That makes sense because he's like he can see into your soul.
Open your mouth.
Looking Glass is in the pod. He expecting you?
Nope.
Oh, I sure hope not.
You don't want to go into the pod with Looking Glass because he'll start asking you questions maybe you don't want answers.
Officers, we don't.
I know there's a line, but could I go next?
Is he nervous?
Silly mascot, Wade. Or do you prefer Detective Tillman?
She's good with the names.
Wade's fine.
The report says you got the location from a suspect here in the racist detector.
It's not a
It's called the pod, man.
This Sister Knight. Would that be Angela Abar?
She has a notebook just like me. I like that she was interrogating him in the pod, usually his home territory.
Hero number 3 is pretty much a god himself. So for the sake of telling them apart, he's blue, and he's got actual superpowers. So I even need to ask how many people you've killed. A live body and a dead body have the same number of particles, so it doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter how I answer your question because I know you're sending me to hell. God does what he did and what he will do. He snaps his finger. And the hero goes to hell.
Wait. Was this a joke? Because I don't get it. Maybe it's like God's the joke. Heaven, hell, life, death. Just joke. It mirrors her outlook on everything that she's doing. She arrested Batman. She called him a joke. Or was he the Shadow? Or the Revenger? Or not the Revenger, just Revenger.
I'm not a cop anymore. I retired 3 years ago.
Of course he did.
And I totally understand. You know how you can tell the difference between a masked cop and a vigilante?
No.
Me neither. Again.
It's like double, triple, quadruple meanings. She's just ingratiating herself to the entire team.
He loved all of you, even more. Angela, I can't think of a better person to speak about Judd.
What is she gonna say? Me and Judd were having an affair, and then I found out he was a racist. Is this... Hey, you gonna blow up a bunch of people?
This device is connected to my heart, so if it stops beating, you're all fucking dead. Senator Joseph King Jr., you are a race traitor. Now surrender yourself or everyone dies!
Time for him to prove himself to me. that he's not...
Do not attempt to follow.
She... Oh. Yeah, she knew he was bluffing. Or is he bluffing? He's not bluffing. Throw him in the grave. Just blow up Judd. Well, it's not your everyday funeral. This is my favorite storyline. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm ready. I'm ready. I am prepared. Mentally prepared. 1 + 1 is 2. 2 + 2 is 5. Everything makes sense. Okay, okay. He's an astronaut.
It's gonna be the one.
He's gonna launch him
In my bowl.
straight up. He's gonna launch him out of a catapult. What's he
Are
gonna
you
do?
ready to venture into the great beyond?
Oh, yes, I am.
Let's do it. He's dead. You know, easy come, easy go. It's like watching a completely different show. It's like you fall asleep. I've fallen asleep and I'm having this weird daydream, and then I wake up and then Watchmen is on, and it's back to the other storyline. Whoa! Who's this? Is this the Lone Ranger? He's floating. He's not. He's on a table. What am I?
But there's a letter from the game warden.
Does it have my name on it?
Dear
Oh,
Mother,
dispense with the flowery pleasantries.
We're not going to find out his name.
I beg your pardon, sir, but when you first arrived here, we agreed upon the terms of your captivity. Intention to violate those terms. As such, if this behavior continues,
He's being imprisoned.
the next first and only warning.
Is this like
Thank you, your humble servant,
house arrest?
the game warden.
Your humble servant?
To the typewriter, Crookshanks. Let's see what this devious cur is made of, shall we? Adrian White.
We got his name.
What do you think, Miss Crookshanks?
Adrian.
This will have him quaking in his boots, master. I'll have it.
His name probably means something to people, but it's just I know his name now, so that's what. Okay. I feel like if we youth him, he was somebody in that costume.
But I represent the people of the great state of Oklahoma, and the Russians ain't my problem.
I still think
Got my vote.
he was in on
Are
it.
you even old enough to vote?
I mean, nothing boosts your popularity like an assassination attempt. He dug his way up through the crypt, which means it seems like he would have need to know a long time in advance.
We were literally going to dig him up tomorrow. Discreetly, of course. Why?
To get cause of death.
For instance, I was at the crime scene earlier, and you know what I saw? Tire tracks right at the base of the train. It was
Wheelchair.
a wheelchair. Men who end up hanging from trees with secret compartments in their closets tend to think of themselves as good guys. And those who protect them think they're good guys too. I ate good guys for breakfast.
Angela doesn't see herself as a good guy. So that fell on deaf ears.
And so it's been a long day at the pearly gates. All the heroes have gone to hell.
Oh, this is a joke. We're going to get the punchline.
But it's not a hero, it's just a woman. Well, where did you come from? Asks Scott. Oh, I was standing behind those other guys the whole time. You just didn't see me.
Silk
Nope.
Is that a giant dildo?
I don't know who you are. I'm the little girl who threw the brick in the air. Then a sound from above. Something falling. The brick. God looks up, but it's too late. He never saw it coming. It hits him so hard, his brains shoot out his nose. The assholes down here still think you give a shit. Even though you've been living on another fucking planet for 30 years.
Since the 80s. Just drop a car. Of course. Turn the magnet off. Or was it Dr. Manhattan throwing a car from Mars? That's what she thinks. You throw a brick in the air, he throws a car back. So that was episode 3. I love that episode. Like, that new character, she's me when I get a bit older. I'll turn into that cynical sort of... I'm sort of cynical at the moment, but I can just see myself getting, slowly worn down, and I just love that sarcastic wit of hers. And that joke she told about the 3 heroes and then the woman. Like, she was clearly talking about herself and the other people in that picture frame that she had in her house, because the third one was Dr. Manhattan, the blue guy who lives on Mars, as you do. I mean, that's just a thing that people do. And she sees herself as the one that nobody pays attention to until it's too late. Although she didn't really show that in this episode. She wasn't just sitting in the background, moving pieces. She was very overtly in everybody's faces. So, it was hilarious watching her interact with all of her main people, or at least some of them. And we learned a lot of names, and I'm going to go back and I will probably write them into my notebook just to kind of solidify them in my brain, including her name. I think she's Silk Spectre. Her name was Silk Spectre. Yeah, and we found out the names of literally everybody, including Jeremy Irons' character, whose name is Adrian something. I'll check that as well. And his story, he's in captivity. So this is like, he's been given this ultimate playground to live out the rest of his days, probably. But there's certain rules. He can't do certain things. And that's the ward and the ranger, that guy who's sort of there to make sure he doesn't do anything outside of the bounds of the contract, the agreement. So that's making, although it's weirder, it's making more sense of things. That it's not just some guy living a normal life in a castle doing normal things. There's something more going on. And we know that, at least we haven't seen anything that can't be explained by science in this show at all. But we've heard of Dr. Manhattan, who is apparently supernatural he's living on Mars. We saw a glimpse of him in episode 1. And he does seem to have powers. So, yeah, all that stuff. This world has rules that aren't necessarily the rules of our world. So anything that seems a bit strange can be... by the way, the cake, I love that it had three candles. I hope that's a running thing. That's just every episode there's just more candles. And I don't know if it's every day that he gets a new cake or if it's signifying something else. I was going to say it's like, when you're in prison and you're writing numbers on a wall to count the days. But I doubt that one was the first day of his incarceration, so... Yeah. Senator Joe Keane, he's the guy that I didn't trust in last week's episode. He was attacked by the 7th Cavalry, accused of being a race traitor, and almost got blown up. But I don't know. He has done absolutely nothing to make me, or to make people distrust him. He's been pleasant and nice and politician-y, but I still don't trust him. Maybe it's just because there's so many politician characters on TV that turn out to be shady in some way that I'm expecting him to turn at any point. And yeah, and even though he almost died in this episode, I still, because he didn't die, I still don't trust him. If he died, then I would have trusted him. That's a good way of deciding character, isn't it? This episode focused completely on Laurie and getting to know her through the eyes of everybody else that we know. So, and I really dig that sort of character. So I hope she stays around, and she has such a rich past connected to all of these kind of this history that her aide talked about. And I feel like there's so much history that we don't know about. And this is like what's happening after it. So hopefully we'll learn more about that. And maybe these characters that we've heard about and talked about might appear at some point. Because she clearly still has her bite. So maybe the rest of them do too. So that was episode 3 of Watchmen. Thank you so much for all the support this series is getting on my small, tiny channel. Thank you for all the likes. And if you like what I'm doing and you want to see more, you know what to do. And thank you for watching, and I will see you next week, and have a good week until I see you next. See ya!